What's up, everybody? This is Christian Sands, and I am so excited for season 3 of Welcome to the Sands Box. We're going to have a great time today because my guest, there's so much to say about my guest. He's been in my corner for a very long time. We have the same name, and he's just an all-around amazing person. And it's not every day you get two Christians in the same room. So please welcome the one and only Christian McBride.
What up?
What's up, man?
Man, I'm glad to be your guest.
Yeah, I know.
Congratulations on all the great stuff you're doing, man. You're out there killing it.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. You know, trying to get this work.
Dig it.
Yeah, man. So I'm trying to think. When's the last time I saw you? Was that in Montclair?
That's right. Yeah, when you were beautiful enough to come and do that fundraiser for Jazz House Kids back in it was early October.
That's right.
You and Tane and Ravi.
Ravi. Yeah.
That's right. Ravi. As Elvin Jones used to say.
Exactly. Man, no, that was just so much fun. Yeah. That was October, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Time flies. You know, I just want to just jump in, man. There's so many different things to talk about because I know you so well. And so I had to write stuff down.
Okay.
Because there's so many things to talk about because you've been doing so many things. I mean, so first of all, I think it was a couple weeks ago or maybe a month ago, you were playing at the Vanguard with the new John, right?
Yeah, that was just 2 weeks ago.
That was 2 weeks ago. Okay,
yeah.
So how was that? I mean, were people there? I mean, what was the vibe? Yeah, it was just streaming, right?
Yeah, empty club, no audience, and they had like a real small skeleton camera crew, and yeah, I mean, I gotta say, man, it was actually really good to be in the Vanguard again, just to walk down the steps and feel the vibe.
Right.
And, I mean, even with no audience there, the Vanguard ghosts are always alive.
Well, that was my question because I mean, playing in the Vanguard with no one there is got to be a trip, just a little bit because I mean, we played the Vanguard. I played the Vanguard with you. Right. I mean, you played there countless times, and so you know that energy. I mean, other than the ghosts that are there. I mean, you have the people that come through there. I mean, you have everybody who's anybody that goes to the Vanguard. So without there being people, how was the vibe? How was playing?
It wasn't bad. I mean, it felt like sound check.
Yeah.
So we just I think we were all so excited to play together again. In the Vanguard, even with no audience, we were still able to kind of play at full strength. Yeah.
Now, have you been doing any other playing? Have you been doing any other streaming concerts or I mean, how you been passing your time up during all of this?
I have to say, man, since all of this stuff started happening in mid-March, I haven't done a lot of playing. The week before you came and did the fundraiser for Jazz House, I played a gig in upstate New York. Aaron Goldberg put together a fundraiser for the Biden-Harris campaign. Yeah. And, like I either play my acoustic bass or my electric bass a little bit every day, just to get keep the wheels greased.
Right.
But that's not the same as like gig strength,
Right.
And so when I played that gig, when we did the Biden fundraiser, man, listen, my chops were so sore the next day. I had blisters on my fingers like I hadn't had since I was in middle school. Yeah. And so I'm thinking, man, it's hard staying in gig shape during this pandemic. So I said all that to say that I've been not doing a lot of playing online, certainly not any live gigs, but I've been playing every day, but it's not the same as being in gig shape.
No, I totally agree because, it's the same here, being in this, I'm in an apartment. So being in this apartment and trying to play piano and you have to stop at a certain time.
What's your cutoff time?
Most recently 10.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
a tragedy.
yeah, because we got new neighbors, so
Yeah.
you know. But it is interesting, when you're home and you don't realize it's a different kind of trajectory that you have when you play.
Yeah,
You approach
right.
the instrument very differently when you're home. So your space that you're in when you're home is a very different thing when you're on stage. So I say that to say, when you called me for that gig and I found out that Tane was playing,
And Ravi.
I went to the gym.
Yes, right. Yeah,
I was like, well, let's get this together.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
I've always had this funny thing that happens. Like, I've been fortunate enough that just by pure luck, I've never worked on Christmas. I've never ever had a gig on Christmas.
Wow, yeah.
And so, for pretty much my entire career, I would always have like Christmas week off.
Yeah.
And so there was a stretch there for like 3 years in a row where, I wouldn't play during that Christmas week. I'm getting together with family, going back and forth to Philly.
Yeah.
And my chops would get soft. My first gig back after that vacation would be with Tane. I think it was Christmas, Christmas of 06. We played with McCoy Tyner at Yoshi's. I got beat up.
Woo.
The Christmas of 08, we played Zinc Bar with Tane's band. I got beat up. Jazz, the Winter Jazz Fest 2009. We me, Tane, Terrence Blanchard, and Bradford Marcellus. I got beat up. And on this pandemic, my first gig back is with Tane. So, I need to start really, anytime I get like a real long hole in my calendar, I should expect Tane to be there at the end.
Right, that's it. So just get ready, get in training shape.
He's a reminder that, it's like,
oh yeah,
stay in shape, boy.
Trust me. When you told me that, I was like, all right, well, let me call Warren. Let me call Warren Wolf and get on a
That's right.
Get on a Zoom call. Let's work out, brother.
That's right.
Man, I love it.
But you was killing.
Man, thank you. I mean, it was fun to just be there. It was fun to just get that energy, get that music from you guys. I mean, it's been a long time. So, and I'd rather have it with you and rather have it with Tane and Ravi, because that was killing.
Oh yeah, we had
such a great time, man.
I have some footage of that. I got to send you.
Oh yeah, please send me that.
Yeah.
And actually, that's perfect. Speaking of footage, a lot of people have been watching you on social media. You've been posting a lot. I'm a fan of how you post. It's such an interesting thing because musicians don't necessarily post good content, I'll say. With a lot of context, with a lot of meat to the bone, you know what I'm saying? So let me ask you, just on a social media side of it, like what has influenced you to do more of that? I mean, whenever it's somebody's birthday, you post something meaningful, you post something deep about it, not just a picture. You post, a photo. You might have been in the photo too. I mean, you have all this history with you. So what makes you, a master at social media now too?
Man, I'm hardly a master, but thank you for that compliment.
Yeah,
I think I've learned along the way. I got on social media probably around 2009.
Yeah.
I got on Facebook around 2008. Early 2009, I got on Twitter at the end of 2009. And at that time, Facebook had been around for a few years.
Right.
And I had tried it, but I was like, this is not for me. And then I started a fan page, and I don't know. I just kind of thought, like, what would people like to see or hear?
Right.
And one of the things that I thought right off the bat was no complaining. Nobody really wants to hear me complain about or be dark about certain things, because I feel like there's enough people on social media who are always critical. They're angry. There's a lot of angry people in the world right now, and I get it, you know. But I feel like if you really want to be heard, I would think you do the opposite. You know,
Yeah.
If everybody's going this way, go that way.
Right.
And I feel like there's so much anger all across the board. I mean, even with musicians, it's like I hear musicians, well, why did this record get voted, album of the year? How come this person won this poll? And how come this person has more gigs than that? And I'm thinking, man, jazz is struggling as bad enough as it is. So no need to start bringing people further down.
That's right.
With gripes,
That's right.
So I figure that, I like to stay positive. I enjoy knowing that somebody could look at a social media post of mine and laugh or chuckle or smile or think, what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember the last time I posted anything. This is one of the few times I set a time bomb and walked away. So, and I think this might be the last time I'll ever do that. I remember on my Facebook page. Is it me, or I find that I find the most negativity? I don't know. Twitter is very angry. Like anytime I want to get angry or like depressed,
Twitter is the place to be when you want to get in touch with that feeling.
Right. Facebook, I feel like there's a lot of crotchety old people on Twitter. I mean, on Facebook.
Facebook,
yeah. And like so, and I think because on Facebook you have unlimited characters. People will leave like these long rants. And I'm looking at this stuff like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, I can't get through them. I start and I'm like, oh, all right. And then after a while, I go, let me flip.
That's right.
Okay. And then he's all right. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, so this one time I left a question.
Yeah.
And that question was, I think I did this like six or 7 years ago. And I said, do you all think that there will ever be a hip hop performance like degree in college? Like will hip hop ever be taught as a real serious arts thing and academia?
Yeah.
And I said, don't laugh. They said the same thing about jazz in the 40s.
They did.
And I said, this was wrong. I knew that was going to get people riled up.
Oh, right? Yeah.
And so I put that on there and I just stepped back and I watched. I came back like an hour later. Oh my Lord. people arguing back and forth, hip hop is not valid, hip hop ain't this, and no, hip hop is the voice of the culture, and like I mean it was like a war. And then I felt bad because I knew that was gonna happen. Because you were
the one who's like, well, let's just see.
Yeah, right. And so I learned a lot from that post. And I remember at that point, I remember thinking, it's okay, it's good, it's cool to be provocative, but people don't know how to argue on social media. People just don't know how to, either agree to disagree or try to find common ground. It just can't be done.
Right. It's very divided. It's either this or that.
So I was like, I can't do that anymore.
Right, right. Well, let me ask you this. So because you grew up in a time where there was no social media whatsoever.
Yeah.
And now there is that. So
and probably less mental illness.
Yeah. Well, that's my question. I mean, how do you think it's affected? More specifically, how do you think it's affected musicians, in particular jazz musicians, before and after? You think it's a positive thing? You think it's affected their careers in a certain way? Do you think it's affected how they approach their music in a certain way? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, I social media has changed all of life for musicians and non-alike. But I find that there's some musicians who use it much more creatively than others. I do think it's probably a generational thing. You like what I post on social media. You got some production stuff happening. That's like, how you do that?
Well, you know, I mean,
let me call him up and see. Hey, man, what you using?
right.
You know,
What kind of mics you got?
that's right. That's right. No, but you were killing it, and you know, I think there have been a lot of musicians who, again, they usually creatively they take little snippets of their gig. Obviously, you can have direct contact with your fans.
Yeah.
And I think really the all of these live streams that have been happening due to the pandemic, I actually don't see that going away. Once we return back to a normal, whatever that's going to be,
right,
I think that's going to stay.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess there's a long list of ways that it has both helped,
Yeah.
and maybe harmed some musicians. It's probably a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
You know? But I think it all depends on the person using it.
Right. Well, this is my last social media question, just because there's a whole bunch of stuff I want to talk to you about. But 1989, you got to New York.
Another summer. Sound of the funky drummer.
That's right. Come on.
Hitting your heart because you know he got soul. Brothers and sisters.
So, 1989, you got to New York. You're how old? What?
17.
17. Mm-hmm. Now, 17-year-old Christian McBride, if he had social media then, what would it be like? Would you be cool? Would you make mistakes? What would it be?
Oh, I'm sure I would have made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. Had I had social media been around in 1989, I think about what was going on in New York City when I first moved to town. When I got to New York in that summer, there was a mayoral race going on. So David Dinkins was about to beat Ed Koch. The Central Park incident had just happened.
Right.
I remember Curtis Mayfield had that accident in Brooklyn, which broke his neck and really changed his life. And it was almost to the height. It hadn't gotten there quite yet. The next year, it was out of control, but it was during the crack era. So there was a lot of crack going on, a lot of crimes. I mean, New York was still pretty grimy and funky when I got there. I remember seeing a guy get mugged right in broad daylight, like on 71st and Broadway. And I was like, damn.
Which is crazy because when you think of 71st and Broadway today,
it's very like nicey.
Right. I think there's a Starbucks and Oshkosh Bagosh over there.
Right. Yeah. And I remember the guy. There was this man. He had a suit on and a briefcase, and some guy ran up to him and grabbed his briefcase, and they had a little tug of war going.
Yeah.
And the guy just kind of snatched his briefcase, and all these papers flew out and ran away. And the guy ran away with his briefcase. And I'm thinking,
wow,
there's nothing in there he could use. I mean, he probably was going to pawn or
the briefcase,
and get some money for it. But I mean, like that's kind of like what New York was like. So I'm sure 17-year-old me, I'd have been like, this is what's happening in New York.
Right.
Dinkins is about Dinkins is about to be the new mayor of New York.
Right.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I would have had stuff to say. I'd have been in school, like sneaking my teachers, talking smack in class and stuff like that. I'd have probably been a mess.
You would have been a mess. All right, that's good, man. So let's move on to this. Now you have several different hats you wear. Other than being a bass player, other than being a band leader yourself. I mean, and I had to write them down too because you have so many. Well, the artistic director of the Newport Jazz Festival, we knew that, right? The jazz advisor of NJPAC. You have radio shows. You have the NPR Jazz Night in America, Lowdown, which is so much fun. Jazz House Kids with Melissa. You also, am I missing anything? There's something else, I'm sure. And also just a husband, son, and a father to 2 dogs. Where there you go.
There's Jesse.
Come on, Jess.
Jesse's still a little groggy. He's been in the hospital last couple of days.
Oh no.
But he's cool now.
So how do you balance all of this stuff, man?
Poorly.
You know? Well, if you saying poorly, it don't look poor. So, it's a lot of different responsibilities to have.
I'll tell you the biggest challenge I have probably with all of this is that, you know me, man, I like being a in the moment person. I really enjoy kind of just, because that's really all we have in life is the moment, right?
Right.
And I realized that I can't really afford to be like that anymore. Yeah. And it's hard because I think that goes directly against my nature. I come downstairs every day, and I'm in my office, which also known as the basement, and I got like a list of stuff that I need to do. And I'm just sitting here like, oh man, let me watch one more episode of Law and Order before I deal with all these tasks, you know?
Right.
And then like there's the part of my brain that's like, dude, turn off the TV, get to your work. And like the other side of my brain is like, no, I don't feel like it.
Right. Right.
And so I've had to learn to fight that urge to not be in the moment so much. It's hard, but I basically just need to. I have to have a daily schedule. I have like everything written down. Well, not so much written down, but I got it on my to-do app.
Right. There you go.
And I gotta check it like every hour. I hate doing it, but I got to.
Right. I hear that. So
I was like, man, I just want to play some Madden right quick. Warren calling me up. Hey man, what's your screen name?
Right, exactly. Oh, because I have a very similar thing too. I have a lot of things I have to get done, and there's that moment where you just kind of like, I just kind of want to sit down and play 2K. And somebody will call me, so I get it, but that's why I asked that question, balancing all of that.
Yeah.
And also still balancing the personal side of you too, because you have that professional thing that you have. You have to have that certain way about you. You have to have that certain hat on, like if you're doing a board meeting or if you're talking on a conference call or whatever. But what I've noticed about you is that it doesn't matter what it is, you're still the same exact person.
To
a degree.
I mean, I think there's some duality that needs to be had.
Yeah,
needs to be learned by everyone. I think the core of who I am never really changes.
Yeah,
but I'm still learning the that sort of being professional. You can still be professional and still be personable. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. But yeah, it's important, I think, to learn how to read the room, know what is required for whatever gig you're approaching.
Right.
I think my first real big sort of administrative position was when I became co-director of the Jazz Museum in Harlem.
Yeah.
And that first board meeting I went to, our man, Dr. Taylor, was there.
Mm-hmm.
Who else was in the room that day? Lauren Schoenberg, of course. Leonard Garment, who was a former White House lawyer, who was the one who got the Jazz Museum started. Darryl Lebo, who was our former treasurer. And so I'm sitting here in this room with sort of like, big wigs.
Right.
And it was big for me because it was sort of like, listen closely, listen to the language they use, listen to what they're discussing, how they're discussing what they're discussing.
Right.
What's the task? What are we trying to do? And I think. And also when I was artistic director of the Brubeck Institute, at that time, the University of the Pacific, where the Brubeck Institute was located,
Right.
At that time, the Brubeck Institute Fellows weren't actually taking academic classes at UOP. Like they literally were just shedding all day.
Yeah.
And so after that first year, I thought, well, I hate that they're on a college campus and they can't take college classes. So for whatever reasons, it wasn't set up beforehand for those students to take classes. Those students being Justin Brown, Joe Sanders, Fabian Almazan, Tommy Morimoto, and we had a trumpet player named Anthony Coleman.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, these guys are in college and they can't take college classes. We gotta fix that. So I would start going to these meetings with like the dean of UOP, trying to set up a deal where these students could actually get, at least take some humanities classes or something, And we got it worked out. But yeah, I just realized that in order to get the job done, sometimes you have to be able to speak another type of language other than the language that you know well. You know what I mean? I know West Philly language very, very well.
Right.
But every now and then you got to learn how to incorporate some East Side Manhattan, some Sutton Place language.
That's right.
Some Park Avenue language, and combine it and know when to, how to balance it, when to flip it, to get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it's very much like music. I mean, when you're in a band and you have to go wherever the band is going, especially if you're not the head of the band, you have to be able to have these conversations and how you navigate these things.
Yeah, I wonder why that's so difficult for the whole thing of staying true to yourself doesn't mean that you refuse to meet someone in the middle.
Right. Right.
It's like, I'm going to be myself no matter what. It's kind of like, that's not really what that means.
Right. That's you being yourself over there.
Exactly.
We need you to be here.
Yeah, that's you being yourself by yourself.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? So, but speaking of just navigating through different things, you were the musical director for the Monterey Jazz Festival on tour in 2012. I just want to talk about that a little bit because I remember seeing that. I remember the first gig y'all had.
Yes.
And first of all, it was so killing. It was so incredible just to see all of you on stage doing what you do. And you talk about navigating through different things. Can you talk a little bit just about that experience of being, one, the musical director, and also, two, having the multi-generations in the band and touring that band?
Right. Well, I must first acknowledge our dear friend, the great Tim Jackson.
Yes.
Tim has been a dear friend to all of us in the jazz community for many, many years. And he came to me, 2011, I assume, maybe even 2010, and said, I want to put together the next Monterey Jazz Festival and tour. Let's talk this out. Yeah. And I have to say, man, out of all the bands, I mean, like all-star bands, because that really was an all-star band.
Right.
Man, that time we were on the road, we had so much fun.
Right.
I mean, every night on the gig and on the bus and in the hotel was a party.
Right. Right.
I mean, between Dee Dee Bridgewater and Lewis Nash and Benny Green, all my friends, Chris Potter and Ambrose Akinmusiri.
Yeah.
I mean, every gig was just like, most nights after the gig, we either go to the bar or we go to Dee Dee's room and play blackjack.
Come on, Dee.
I remember one time I had like 3 blackjacks in a row, and I can't tell you what Dee Dee said. It consists of 2 words. And she took the pile of cards and she threw them at me. She was like, I would say, hey, you dealing, don't get mad at me.
Right.
So, but like, I guess for starters, there is, when you're a musical director, I guess there's a few things you need to look at. Tim discussed that, the Monterey Jazz Festival on tour concept, kind of, you know,
Right.
kind of what that was. You know, so thinking about the history of the Monterey Jazz Festival and
Right.
kind of what the festival has stood for all these years, and the sort of names that were popping up in our conversation, I thought, okay, I kind of see where this is going, you know.
Right.
So the only one that I remember Tim said, I really would like to have Ambrose in this band. You know, he's a homeboy.
Right.
You know, he came up through our local scene,
Yeah.
and I really want to have this as a platform for him. And plus, I think it would do him some good to be around you veterans. You know,
Right.
I
Right.
said, cool, let's do it. You know,
Yeah.
and I always, I talked to Ambrose on a chat not that long ago, and I asked him, I said, man, we never really discussed this, but how did you feel about being in that band? He was like, dude, I was scared. I couldn't really talk to y'all.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you know, I felt that, you know. So and then I thought, okay, well, what was it like when I was playing in Freddie Hubbard's band? You know,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
I was scared to death. Like I was in that man's band for 2.5 years, and really went to the stage every gig frightened. Like I know my gig is a couple notes away from being in jeopardy every night for whatever reason.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I understood where he was coming from. But as a musical director of a band with so many big personalities, with so many stars, first of all, I knew all of them had also been leaders,
Right.
and musical directors themselves. So they had no problem with sort of like my job was to say, hey, look, bring some of your songs, bring some of your songs, bring some of your songs. Everybody's going to have a say, you know.
Right.
When I would put the set list together every night, I would check with everybody, make sure they cool. Oh, yeah, that's, you know, I don't care. And but I also think a lot of that came from them being veterans. They knew like, hey, man, look,
right.
Whatever you say is cool. We ain't tripping.
Right. We ain't tripping. We ready to go.
Right. That's right.
Right.
There was one point, again, I put the spotlight on Dee Dee.
She gonna call you after she watches this.
I know, right? She said, I want to do something, you know, bring me something kind of something funky, something different. I was like, okay, we could do that. And so I started doing some research, and I found this really, this record of Dee Dee's, Bad for Me. It's like this R&B record she did in the 70s. And there's a song of hers on there called Love Won't Let Me Go. It's an original tune. And I said, all right, I'm going to surprise her. I'm going to write an arrangement of this. And so we came to rehearsal one of those gigs. And I said, Dee Dee, I got that. You know, you said you wanted to try something different. I got something for you. And so we ran it down at rehearsal. And she was like, where did you find this? You know, I was like, see, I got you. You know, I'm looking up. So she was like, and so after we ran it at the rehearsal, we played it on the gig once. And after the gig, she was like, Christian, you know, I'm not sure this song is really fitting in the set, you know, in the context of the whole thing. I'm not sure it's fitting. I was like, okay, you know, I'll take it out. But we all liked it. Like the whole band really liked it too. We was like, you sure you don't want to keep it? I mean, that song's really no. It doesn't really feel right. I was like, all right, you know. And then she had a moment. And she was like, why you pick that song in the first place?
I was waiting for the switch.
Oh man, it's like all of a sudden she was kind of like she got like
she
mad.
Thought about it.
Yeah, she's like, why you pick that? You should have known that song wasn't gonna work.
Well, man, you know, this kind of goes into my next question. You know, you have such a good rapport, even when that sort of thing happens, you know, where somebody disagrees with what you've done, you know, you still have this great rapport with your bandmates, right? And you've developed this just wonderful network of just people, of just folk, of just all these different cats from different generations, from just starting out into the oldest of the oldest. I mean, you have a whole bunch of people just around you, supporting you, loving you, and also just that you can work with and all that. So what was it like? I say this, what was it like hanging with Ray Brown?
Mm.
And how did that influence having the trio with myself and Ulysses?
Well, you already know the answer to the second part of that question, but I'll go back to meeting Ray Brown. Man, being around Ray Brown was I think that generation. When I think of people like Ray Brown, I also think of people like Clark Terry, whose birthday is today. This is a centennial day. So happy birthday, Clark. Harry Sweets Edison and Milt Jackson and and you knew Oscar Peterson, you know. There's a certain thing that generation had, you know. I don't even know how to describe it, but they sort of those swing era cats, like those bebop swing era cats, they seem to demystify everything because, like, you know, we're
that's a good way to put it. Yeah,
we're artists, so we kind of, you know, we want to find there must be something deep in every single thing that they do. Right. And Ray Brown and those cats, man, that's deep. He's just playing, you know. Yeah. And so Ray was very much, man, I don't even know how to. He was regular. He was just a regular, hip, great leader, teacher, mentor. Yeah. You know, and he's also one of the few bebop guys I knew that he liked funk. Like he loved James Brown. He worked with James Brown. Right. And you know, did a lot of pop gigs. So like me playing pop or playing R&B, that didn't even faze him at all.
Yeah, for sure. Now I want to do this because I know we're running out of time, and I mean, you know, we could talk all day.
You my man.
Know? So I want to do this. I wrote out a list of names, and I just want you to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Real quick before you run those names down. Because I started to be so associated with Ray Brown, I got paranoid that no matter what I did, I was always going to be compared to Ray Brown. So the last thing I ever wanted was a trio. I was like, no. That's the last thing I'm ever going to get, you know. Right. Because it'll be like, oh, there's Christian McBride again, trying to be just like Ray Brown. It's just like, you know. Right. But you, my friend, you are so killing. And I remember thinking, like, I really don't want a trio, but this dude, Christian Sands, is a bad shut your mouth. So I guess I'm just gonna have to go for it. And man, that trio with you and Bim wound up being, I mean, I would have to say that was my most popular group.
Yeah. And you were what, 30 what when that happened?
When did we meet? I guess you went to Europe with us in 2011, right?
Yeah.
So wow. Yeah, I was 39.
39. Yeah.
Which makes me think, hey, clear your calendar for May of 2022.
Oh yeah, we got it. Trust me, I was gonna ask you about that.
Oh, it's gonna be big.
Oh yeah, we got it. So let me ask you these names. I want to ask you these names. Well, sorry, let me do this again. So I'm going to read some names off, and what I want you to do is just give me one word that comes to your mind.
Okay.
When I read these names.
Right? Oh boy.
Okay. All right. Bobby Watson.
Soulful.
Okay. Freddie Hubbard.
Unpredictable.
Hank Jones.
Classy.
Oh yeah, definitely. Dr. Billy Taylor.
Elegant.
Yeah. Frank Sinatra.
Ooh. What's the first word that comes to iconic?
Thad Jones.
Woo. Advanced. And I mean that in a good way.
Yeah. The CMB.
Wow.
I thought I'd get you with that one.
Wow, what word comes to hybrid.
Hybrid, all right.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Jeff Keezer.
Mad genius. I know you asked for one word.
No, but that's perfect because that's exactly how I would say it too.
Yeah.
Juilliard.
Well, there's Juilliard 1 and Juilliard 2. Because I went to Juilliard before they had a jazz program.
Right.
And of course, they're known now.
Okay, when you went.
Oh, that's mean.
Never mind. We'll come back. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, let's come back to that.
We'll come back to that. Roy Hargrove.
Oh.
You can get 2 words
brother.
for
that. Dear brother.
That's it. Greg Hutchinson.
There's my answer.
That's it.
A bad man.
That's right.
A bad man.
See, Tony Reedus.
Oh man, comedian.
Yeah.
Nobody ever made me laugh harder than Reedus.
Yeah. I'm thinking of all the jokes you told me, so I can't say them, but I'm thinking
that's right.
Right now.
I keep trying to tell you, McBride.
Right. Profile don't matter.
That's right.
Ron Carter.
Sophisticated.
Yeah. John Clayton.
You can't say sophisticated Big brother.
Yeah, okay.
He's my big brother.
All right. McCoy.
Ooh.
Ask McCoy.
Power.
Lou Donaldson.
That's the Don Rickles.
All right, we wrap it up now. Let's see.
Ask McCoy.
Right, that's right. He was there. Edgar Meyer.
Oh. Untouchable.
Yeah.
That's the word that comes to mind, I think, Edgar.
Herbie Hank.
Herbie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Herbie Jeff.
That's right. I'm trying to figure out one word. I'm thinking of like he's the one we all kind of strive to be like,
Yeah.
So the model.
Yeah. Okay. I'll keep that. Carl Allen.
Oh man, I might have to use the same one I used for Clayton. He's a big brother.
That's it. Benny Green.
Closest friend I've ever had. Probably. I know it's not one word, but
that's cool. That makes sense. And the Monterey Jazz Festival.
Oh man, 3 words. I've already used them, but just really 4 words: elegance, class, sophistication, tradition.
Yeah, man. Good. All right, man. Well, thank you very much for hanging with me today. I mean, we could do this forever.
You killing it, man. Proud of you, brother. Man,
likewise. I mean, we might have to do a part 2, a part 3, a part 4, a part 5 of this because we can just talk forever. But
that's right.
Thanks for hanging.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. I'll talk to you soon.
You got it, brother.